This week, across the globe, we pause to remember the most extensively documented crime in the history of the world. International Holocaust Remembrance Day commemorates the 6 million Jewish victims and millions of others persecuted and murdered by the Nazis during World War II. For the record, it is profoundly disrespectful to the memories of survivors and the suffering of those who were killed to equate the Holocaust to anything. But that does not stop mostly Republican lawmakers and public figures from trying to compare what is going on right now to this horrible time in human history. Last weekend, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. suggested Anne Frank, the famous teenager who hid from the Nazis in an attic in the Netherlands before being caught and sent to die in a concentration camp, was better off under Hitler than Americans who are currently subject to vaccine mandates.
Even in Hitler's Germany, you could cross the Alps into Switzerland. You can hide in an attic like Anne Frank did. I visited in 1962 East Germany with my father and met people who had climbed the wall and escaped. So it was possible. Many died doing it, but it was possible. Today, the mechanisms are being put in place that will make it so none of us can run and none of us can hide.
Kennedy later apologized. His own wife condemned his comments. And just 2 weeks ago, a Republican congressman from Ohio, Warren Davidson, tweeted an image of a Nazi document and wrote the following: "This has been done before. #do not comply. Let's recall that the Nazis dehumanized Jewish people before segregated them before imprisoning them, imprisoned them before enslaving them, and enslaved them before massacring them." So what kind of egregious act drove Davidson to react this way? It was the mayor of Washington, D.C. requiring adults to have proof of a COVID vaccination, a photo ID, and wear a mask while indoors in public. Davidson later apologized. And then there's Colorado Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. Back in July, she referred to door-to-door vaccine awareness advocates supported by the CDC as needle Nazis. And of course, don't forget Georgia Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. She went to the National Holocaust Museum in Washington and apologized for using Holocaust comparisons to criticize face mask mandates on the House floor.
The Holocaust there's nothing comparable to it. It happened, and over 6 million Jewish people were murdered. And there are words that I have said and remarks that I've made that I know are offensive, and for that I want to apologize.
Nothing to compare to it. I agree. But then weeks later, Greene was back at it, as you'll recall, attacking efforts by the White House to encourage Americans to get vaccinated by calling those leading the efforts, quote, brown shirts. That is a reference to the paramilitary organization that helped Hitler and the Nazi Party rise to power. They were also known as brown shirts. These are just a few examples. In fact, we did a cursory look and found at least 32 examples from lawmakers using Holocaust comparisons just in the last 2 years since the beginning of the pandemic. The Holocaust should not be used to make political points. The systematic targeting and genocide of Jewish people is not in the same universe whatsoever as public health measures intended to keep people safe during a pandemic. The deaths of 6 million Jews should not be a punchline or a way to rally supporters. If they want to bring up the Holocaust, maybe it should be to fight to keep books about it in school curriculums, like the book Maus, a Pulitzer Prize-winning graphic novel about the experiences of Holocaust survivors and their children. Just this week, the McMinn County, Tennessee Board of Education voted unanimously to ban the book from an 8th grade curriculum, allegedly over concerns of language and the small drawing of a nude woman. Maybe our time is better spent reading books about the history of the Holocaust instead of making insensitive, outrageous, and ahistorical comparisons to it.